Hello and welcome to our live chat party happening here for the FIBA Asia Cup Saudi Arabia 2025. It's a pleasure to be here with all of you. Hi, I'm Paulo de Rosario, and welcome to our chat party over here. Once again, this is for the FIBA Asia Cup Saudi Arabia 2025. Gilas Pilipinas going against the Tall Blacks in this one. So excited to bring this for you. For those wondering, this will not be where you can watch the game live. This is a second screen experience. So what does that mean? It means that this is going to be an alternative commentary. You could be watching the game, but if you want to hear a different voice or a different aspect of it, you can keep this one on. And of course, we will give you all of that. You can also hop in and join the chat. You have the chat box right down there. This is a chat party after all. Gilas Pilipinas against New Zealand. Tip-off happening in just a few moments. It is looking like a packed house over in Jeddah. A lot of Filipino fans out there ready to see whether or not they can bounce back after a disappointing loss against Chinese Taipei. While for New Zealand, on the other hand, trying to look to build on that win against Iraq. Now, that win in particular was really interesting coming from New Zealand because they got off to a really slow start. In fact, they were trailing going into the halftime break. It did change, they did improve, and of course, there's a lot of expectation in New Zealand. 2022, they ended up on the podium, a landmark win for their program, and they're going to try to do one better then. Now, of course, Gilas Pilipinas, very disappointing back in 2022, and are trying to get over what was a very hard loss against Chinese Taipei. Once again, thank you so much for joining us. This second screen experience, this chat party, here in the FIBA Asia Cup Saudi Arabia 2025. I'm Paulo del Rosario, and it will be my pleasure to be with you all throughout as we go all the way and try and figure this out. As first points are on the board, Junmar Fajardo getting a layup inside early, and that is going to be really important, by the way. Junmar Fajardo getting going early is going to be super important for Gilas Pilipinas. It was a bit disappointing for them last time around talking about Gilas Pilipinas because Jumar Fajardo was not able to really make a big difference. He, in fact, looked like a bit of a liability for the Gilas Pilipinas guards, Gilas Pilipinas team in general, simply because it was a disappointing performance for the many-time MVP of the PBA. But Justin Brownley, boy, oh boy, here we go. He gets going with a jumper here, with Chris Newsom having a great contribution, had an assist, defensive rebound early, and New Zealand is looking like a bit of a slow start here unless things change. Remember, they started out flat-footed in that last game against Iraq, and they're going to have to try and change things. But here they're going. Taylor Britt with the first basket here for New Zealand, a driving layup made there for Taylor Britt. And of course, let's see whether or not this will continue. Ooh, but Justin Brownlee attacks early, a dunk here from Justin, and of course that comes off a turnover coming from Tohi Smith-Milner. Again, Justin Brownlee, disappointing game last time around, fouled out in the fourth quarter for Gilas Pilipinas, and that was something that they gotta work on, to be quite frank. Dwight Ramos comes up with a steal, by the way, from Tohi Smith-Milner, but Jumar Fajardo gets a offensive foul against Tohi Smith-Milner. There's going to be a bit of a back and forth here with Junmar Fajardo, and I'm assuming the Philippines in general, because they are still adjusting to international style of calling. I mean, calling games, calling and officiating rather, because Philippines, the PBA, a bit physical. Ben Gold getting a two-pointer here for the New Zealand team, the Tall Blacks, as it is now a 6-4 game here in quarter number one. Once again, thank you so much for joining us here. And there are going to be a lot of course, there's going to be a lot of discussion here of how the Philippines will bounce back, and of course, how New Zealand can build on their first win. Once again, thank you very much for joining us here on this chat party. It's going to be a bit different, right? It's a bit different. This is a second screen experience. And of course, we have a chat box underneath. Please come on in, join us, and let yourselves be heard wherever you are watching around the world. Of course, we have the poll there as well. Thank you so much for joining us. We're seeing a lot of guys here coming on. Earlier on, Gabriel Platon saying, let's go Philippines. Muji asking, where they can watch the game live? Well, that depends on where you are around the world. to be completely frank, it will be dependent on wherever you are. It's going to be, we're not going to be broadcasting the game live here. This is going to be that second screen experience. And so far, right now, by the way, New Zealand has come up in the lead. Jordan Ngatai getting a 3-point basket to fall. This New Zealand team actually did not shoot the ball well against Iraq in their last game. As I'll bring that up for you. Just take a look at their numbers here. They take a look at that game against Iraq. It was 100 to 78 in favor of New Zealand. But as we take a look at some of their stats here, the shooting percentage from beyond the arc on New Zealand was at a paltry 26.5%. And that is good for around 9 of 34. Now, if that changes, boy, it could be a much more closely contested game. Or rather, it could be more of a blowout in favor of New Zealand if their shooting actually gets on point here. 9 of 34, not a good number for them. But Gilas Pilipinas did not defend the 3-ball very well against Chinese Taipei. So we're going to be watching out for that. Dwight Ramos here coming up with a steal, but then missing a driving lay-in as Ben Gold comes away with a defensive rebound. Rebound count, something we're going to be watching out for as well. 3-2 right now in favor of New Zealand. This is a team, talking about Gilas Pilipinas, who do not have a lot of size. They're missing size because of the lack of Kai Soto in particular. It's still out due to injury, due to an ACL. So of course that is something to watch out for. Of course, we take a look right now at what Junmar Fajardo could do here. Again, coming in with a defensive rebound, coming off the miss from Ben Gold. Now, this is a New Zealand team, for those wondering, that is a mix of veterans and those who are a bit more seasoned, a bit more experienced. You have 3 debutants coming into this one, and it should be interesting to see how they do. Of course, Gilas Pilipinas coming into this one with a relatively veteran crew. AJ Edu trying to leave an impression here, but fouling Toby Smith Milner instead. Nearing the halfway point here. Closely contested game, 8-10, still in favor of New Zealand. Gilas Pilipinas taking an early lead in the first quarter, but we'll find out whether or not New Zealand could sustain this or Gilas Pilipinas can find a bit of a rhythm. It was a good start for Junmar Fajardo getting an early touch. I wouldn't be surprised if Coach Tim Cone uses a bit more of Junmar Fajardo because Junmar is utilized him more in the offense. Junmar is one of those bigs, at least in the PBA, or everyone covets, and I'm sure Coach Tim Cone really wants to see how far he can push Junmar Fajardo. So right now we have a basket coming off the free throw. And it looks like AJ Edu. Is that a free throw? I'll double check that. There it is. Justin Brownley getting the first of 2. The assist being credited to Chris Newsom right after that. Another interesting thing that we have to watch out for if you are Gilas Pilipinas is that will we see Kevin Cambao get minutes here today? The substitutions have not happened yet for Gilas Pilipinas. It'll be interesting to see who comes in after Calvin Oftana, who comes in for AJ Edu, as Jordan Ngatai gets the lead up once again for New Zealand. Justin Brownlee splits the free throws. It is 9-12 in favor of New Zealand here, approaching the halfway point of this game. Once again, for those wondering, we are on YouTube, just the chat, and of course, go make yourself be heard in the chat box underneath wherever you are around the world. We'd love to hear from you. This is the second screen experience as Justin Brownlee buries a triple here to tie things up at 12 apiece. Boy, Justin Brownlee, he is such an important piece of this Gilas Pilipinas team. I mean, he is emergency offense. He is the first option. He's every part of it. As we take a look here, as Natsu is a fan of Dwight Ramos. In fact, it says Dwight Ramos. That's all he wants to hear about. Of course, Dwight Ramos actually had a disappointing first half in that last game against Chinese Taipei, but he came back in a big way in the second half. A couple changes here. Max Darling and Carlin Davidson coming in here for the Tall Blacks, as after the miss here from Jack Andrew. Rebound coming for Gilas Pilipinas, but New Zealand still leading the rebounding category, by the way. You got to watch out for that. 3 steals already here coming for Gilas Pilipinas, as there's a bad pass again for Dwight Ramos. Returns it after, what was a good defensive stop last time around. But Junmar Fajardo getting the rebound off the miss from Max Darling. And Gilas Pilipinas go the other way, 4:29 here in this game so far. And of course, let us know where you're watching from. Don't shy coming in on the chat. I know it says it's only on subscribers mode here, so hopefully we can have you guys subscribe as well. That's how you can join in on the chat, by the way. Just subscribe, just join us here, and we're going to have a little chat party as we mentioned a while ago. So thank you again so much for joining us here. This is the second screen experience that FIBA is providing. And of course, it's such a pleasure to have you guys here with us. As right now, Calvin of Town has drawn the foul of Carlin Davidson with 4:06 left. A missed jumper here coming for Justin Brownley. That's Justin Brownley tried to get it in. That was in and out. Good rebound there coming for the number 27, Andrew of New Zealand. And Junmar Fajardo will be slapped with that foul. All right, so once again, we have Ilan Picard coming in from France. Thank you so much. Again, now we actually turned off the subscribers only mode here on the chat, so anyone could come in, and just like Flynn Cameron coming in and scoring underneath the basket off a driving lane to return the lead here to New Zealand. Still trying to contest here, 12-14. And a timeout here called by Coach Tim Cone of Gilas Pilipinas, as right now there's a bit of frustration here for Coach Tim Cone. The defense was a big miss for both these teams in their last game. Iraq had no business sticking so close to New Zealand. New Zealand were not as great defensively. They admitted that after the game. Gilas Pilipinas, they allowed a 30-point first quarter and a 28 or so third quarter for Chinese Taipei in the last game. So defense really is a big issue. Thank you so much for joining us once again here on this chat experience, in this chat party. Just make yourselves heard. Come in, join in the chat, and hopefully we can have a bit of a discussion as well. Of course, this is going to be really fun. New Zealand, I know I'm wearing a Filipino shirt. I am Filipino for those wherever. But we're going to try to be as unbiased as possible, right? I'm going to try to be, because I want to know more about what you guys like about New Zealand in particular. Do you think that they can end up finishing on the podium? We'll find out, right? They had a great campaign last time around in 2022. Of course, Gilas Pilipinas did not have a great one. They only had a 1 win towards the end. I believe they finished 9th place. It was not great. An experience that you feel that they could have done better in. And of course, we have a lot here to discuss in terms of the substitutions, the movements, and of course the adjustments here. Gilas Pilipinas, they take pride. Filipino coaches in particular take pride in adjustments, right? They are known to be one of the better teams in terms of adjustments, as Dwight Ramos off the timeout here for Coach Tim Cone gets a 2-pointer, 3:28, but still a 2-point lead here for New Zealand. Or rather, so we'll double check that, because it says 16-14 on the screen over FIBA. Oh, that's because Max Darling, as we get the update in. The score came in before the update. Max Darling gets a basket off the fast break here, as Max Darling returns the lead here for New Zealand. Kyle Stephens says Pilipinas, cheering for the boys in white here today. And of course, Dylan saying hello there. He is watching this in the Philippines. I hope, we're giving you something enjoyable here, something nice to really have, and hopefully we can have more people coming in, joining in the chat. Make yourselves heard wherever you are. Of course, Dylan saying here that he hopes the Philippines will win, and it'll be a tough task, right? Always will be. So Junmar Fajardo getting the foul there of Max Darling after a team offensive rebound. Calvin Octano with the missed 3, but then Junmar Fajardo and the rest of Gilas Pilipinas working hard to retain the possession. Of course, a couple of changes here. So Kevin Cambao early insertion here. Kevin Cambao scored 17 points in 16 minutes for Gilas Pilipinas in that last game. He brought in a lot of energy, brought in something different. We're going to discuss whether or not Kevin Cambao could do that, could make a big change. AJ Edu misses off the lay-in attempt. He did not have a great first half, by the way, AJ Edu, in the last game. So we're going to see if he can have a little bit of a bounce back here. Nothing quite doing here. And a steal here for Scotty Thompson off Max Darling. And of course, Gilas Pilipinas trying to tie things up before we go into the second quarter rather. And of course, Kyle Stephen is watching from Maruklap in Batangas City. And Brownley with a missed three-point attempt there. Ben Gold coming in with a defensive rebound. Gilas Pilipinas still trailing, but New Zealand are looking good. It's been back and forth here between these two. No one getting a real rhythm as New Zealand are doing a good job just keeping Gilas Pilipinas at bay. Calvin Oftana here with a foul on Ben Gold. 2 minutes left here in the first quarter, and it has been back and forth. You take a look at the attempts here. So 2 of 5 from New Zealand from beyond the arc. Gilas Pilipinas 1 of 7 with 14% from beyond the arc. In terms of assist count, still dead even here, 3 apiece, plus 3 advantage for rebounding for New Zealand. And Gilas Pilipinas not doing a good job in converting points of turnovers. They have 4 steals already, but still not quite there. Satuara says, go New Zealand. Of course, cheering for the Tall Blacks. Shaki asking where to watch live. It depends on your country, right? It depends on your country. Where are you watching from? Go and check your local providers to see just where you can see it. All right, so New Zealand getting that miss there from Ben Gold. Last 2-minute mark here, by the way, give or take, with Ben Gold missing that free throw. Oh, so we're beyond the last 2 minutes. We're just double checking here what the exact time is left. Of course, right now, splitting the free throws here. So Ben Gold makes the second, and credit the assist there for Carlin Davidson. So Dylan is still insistent that the Philippines will win this. Satu Ara says New Zealand again, this time with an ellipsis and then exclamation points. That's right, we're reading everything, right? We're reading everything, and I feel that we can have more people come in to join as well. Of course, don't forget to subscribe. Subscribe here to FIBA Basketball. You're going to get a lot of videos, a lot of lives from different parts of the world. And of course, it's going to, if you hit the game center here, it'll tell you who is streaming or broadcasting the game in your country. So, napaka-importante yun. I'm saying that in Filipino. That's very important. As well as we welcome Raul Hadinoto. Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the subscription. Thank you so much for joining us. There's your rookie icon, and there's your star as well. So right now, Gilas Pilipinas the scoring has slowed, except for Flynn Cameron. He comes in, 3-point basket made here, 6-point lead for New Zealand. Less than a minute left to play here in quarter number 1. It was a good start for Gilas Pilipinas. They actually had the lead, but the New Zealand finding a bit of rhythm here. Their shooting starting to work. Now can Gilas Pilipinas go and put the clamps on them and maybe get some offense going? And then, yeah, I mean, like Dylan trying to lay out the schedule here of Gilas Pilipinas should they win. But New Zealand doing a good job here in the tail end of the first quarter. As right now, another substitution here. Tane Murray coming out here for New Zealand. And it has been an interesting game here. The first parts of the game, Gilas Pilipinas seemed more active, seemed a bit more potent offensively in particular, but it has not necessarily been the way that they wanted to here towards the tail end of the first quarter. So a long way to go. Gilas Pilipinas will try to take advantage here of having the possession towards the tail end of this first quarter. So we take a look at the steal that AJ Edu was able to get. Oh, but Jordan Natay getting a basket here, making it an 8-point lead. Again, Gilas Pilipinas, their offense slowed down as Michael De Borja joins us and says, please, Philippines. Oh, praying for a win here. And it was going to be a foul on Carl Tamayo, by the way, off that finish from Jordan Natay. I'm taking a look at the replay right now. And the way that he got it was he just drove in Carl Tamayo, and Carl Tamayo could not contain him on the defensive end. That penetration here coming from New Zealand has been strong. So, I mean, you also have to take a look at where the breakdowns are happening for Gilas Pilipinas. If you talk to them, they are going to be critical of their own on-ball defense in terms of the point of attack. What does that mean? If you are the ball handler of New Zealand and you are able to just drive past your man from the point of attack without having to make a pass, you force breakdowns defensively. And that is on the initial on-ball defender. And that time, good example there, Carl Tamayo not being able to control Jordan Gatay, who makes the bonus free throw. And all of a sudden here, look, you call a timeout, you're down by 9, 42 seconds left in quarter number 1. Gilas Pilipinas trailing New Zealand, who have been playing very well. New Zealand are an experienced group, right? They have the size, the talent is, to be honest, comparable with each other. I wouldn't put them too far apart in terms of the raw talent, but I believe this group here of New Zealand has found that rhythm, that right rhythm towards the end of the first quarter. Gilas Pilipinas, obviously, that could change later on. Once again, thank you so much for joining us here. Actually, Mir, John, and Besties, Gilas down by 9 again. It's significantly less than what they were down in against Chinese Taipei in that first game. The silver lining here for Gilas Pilipinas is that it's only the first quarter. Of course, for New Zealand, silver lining here is that you have around 42 seconds left here in quarter number 1, and you still have the opportunity to increase this lead even more. And if you go into the second quarter having scored maybe 25, 27 points in a 10-minute game, like here in FIBA, that's such a big boost. That's going to be proof that, hey, look, they can't handle our offense. Let's keep on attacking them. In Gilas Pilipinas, you're having a very furious Coach Tim Cone right now on the bench. And let's see if this ignites a fire on Gilas Pilipinas. But right now, his opposite number, New Zealand, are just doing everything right here in the tail end of this first quarter. Again, the plus side is it's just the first quarter for Gilas. But of course, New Zealand are going to try to make it even worse here. 14-23. No, it's a 9-point lead. It's 14-23 here, Dylan. Unless we get the math wrong and they score quickly, talking about New Zealand. So, let's see what happens there. Oh, he deleted the post. Don't worry. I won't say next time. So right now, Carl Tamayo getting the first of 2 free throws. Carlin Davison fouling Carl Tamayo. Of course, Hooper coming in, joining Gilas Pilipinas from Japan. Now, that foul came about because Davison's a bit too overeager with the way that he tried to go for the steal. So 2 free throws made here for Carl Tamayo, and Gilas Pilipinas will take that. They'll take that. They'll take getting points the hard way as long as you make your free throws. They also conceded a lot of free throws, by the way, against Chinese Taipei. We're going to find out whether or not that will play a factor later on. I'm just going to take a quick look at how much New Zealand have shot from the free throw line. Only 2 of 3 here in this game so far. So Gilas Pilipinas doing a much better job at containing the shooters or containing the free throws of their opposition. AJ Edu with a defensive rebound after a long possession here. And Chris Newsom with a driving lay-in. 23-18. And Gilas Pilipinas, after that spirited timeout from Coach Tim Cone, now have turned the lead down to 5 as we are winding down the first quarter, and that looks like it will be it. Shan Nisa on our chat says China number 1. I don't think they've won here in the FIBA Asia Cup since 2015. I have to double check that, but it's been a while. And maybe if China have a bit of a resurgence and Asian basketball is becoming more and more competitive. I mean, it's so much tougher to win, especially with Australia and New Zealand in the mix here in the competition. So let's see what happens there. But again, Gilas Pilipinas with a nice finishing kick to the first quarter. After New Zealand went on a little run, they extended the lead to around 9 points. But Gilas Pilipinas with 4 quick points in the last 40 or so seconds means that it will be a 23-18 quarter going into the second. So thank you so much for joining us here. It has been really interesting, really fun so far. For those wondering, this is not going to be where you watch the game live. This is the alternative stream, which means you watch the game, you sync it to whatever, you sync it to however you're watching, and maybe this is the commentary you prefer. Of course, we're going to do a lot of storytelling. You can join in the chat. We're watching the chat here right now. There have been 503 votes for in the poll here on our chat party over on YouTube. Come in, join, make yourselves heard. We turned off the subscribers mode only here, so anyone can join the chat here and just make yourselves heard. Let us know where you're watching from, what you think of the game so far, and of course, just hang out here. That's basically what we're trying to do. So right now, in terms of free throw count, very limited here. 7 free throw attempts for both these teams in this game so far. In terms of assist count, Gilas Pilipinas will want to move the ball a bit better as Justin Brownley checks in for Calvin Oftana, trying to inject a bit more energy here as Calvin Oftana will give way. Of course, for New Zealand, I'm sure Justin Brownley is all over the scouting report of New Zealand. It'll be interesting to see how they handle him. He had a decent first quarter, if I'm not mistaken. I'll go take a look at the numbers here for Justin Brownlee for the first quarter, and Justin Brownlee 8 points. What a way to start. Oh, and Kevin Campbell gets going here with a 3-pointer again. Kevin Campbell, interesting guy for the Philippines because of the background, right? He was trying to make it to the NBA, had a couple of workouts, but was not able to really break through even to a summer league team. He's very highly thought of in the Philippines. He is also playing overseas at the moment, and he is considered to be one of the more exciting young talents here for Gilas Pilipinas. Oh, and a foul drawn here by Justin Brownlee. 2 free throws awarded for Carlin Davidson. Again, Justin Brownlee fouled out in the fourth quarter. He fouled out in the fourth quarter against Chinese Taipei as Carlin Davidson makes the first of 2. And let's see whether or not, of course, if Kevin Campbell and the rest of Gilas Pilipinas can overcome things like this. But if you're Justin Brownlee, by the way, you got to get used to the officiating in FIBA basketball. He's used to the physical nature of how PBA officiating is, where I think the entire Gilas Pilipinas team, to be quite frank, in that first game was adjusting to the officiating. They weren't used to the fact that it wouldn't be great. Oh, a turnover here for Kevin Campbell, and a chance here for New Zealand to extend the lead even further. 2-possession ball game at the moment, but you hit a 3 here, boy, you make a 3-possession ball game and add on the pressure here to Gilas Pilipinas. Puppets World asks, who wins here, guys? Well, you know what? Check the poll. You know what? Be part of the poll. Make your voices heard. And, of course, hop on and join the chat. Let's see what everyone thinks. Yeah, so much to discuss, so much to work on for both these teams. Puppets World says New Zealand beat Philippines before, and Philippines haven't. Actually, the Philippines have beaten them in Manila. Actually, it was a landmark win here for Gilas Pilipinas, and so they are beatable for Gilas, and you gotta. I mean, like the latest game though, New Zealand did beat the Philippines. It was an impressive win against a very tired Philippines team. As right now, Carl Tamayo will check out for Dwight Ramos, who has yet to get going, as Jordan Gatay gets the first of 2 off the foul from AJ Edu. Again, it came off a turnover for Kevin Campbell. We'll see whether or not that would be something that he can address, because Kevin Campbell is a very excitable player. I mean, excitable. He is young and he tries to push things forward a bit. So there, 2 free throws made here for Jordan Ngatay, and Gilas Pilipinas will try to climb up from this 6-point deficit against New Zealand. Right now, at the moment, New Zealand have been keeping Gilas Pilipinas at bay. Ben Gold here with the foul, though. I'll just that won't be a shooting foul. Oh, it will be a shooting foul. Chris Newsom will have an opportunity to shoot too. Juice MMA asking where we can you watch this. Now that depends where you are around the world. So double check. There's a link here. I believe we posted the link here a while ago where you can check where if you hit the game center on FIBA.basketball. If you hit the game center, it'll show you where you can watch wherever you are around the world as Chris Newsom gets the first of 2 free throws. And of course, for us here in the Philippines, you can catch it by Pilipinas Live and the One Sports and PBA Rush as well as Carlin Davidson answers back with a dunk here after Chris Newsom gets the 2 free throws, 29-23. Again, Gilas are trying their best to come back, but then it feels like every time Gilas scores, New Zealand counter with a quick jab or quick punch. Yeah, New Zealand do look tough. I think that's always going to be the case. I think, yes, you're right. The Philippines does foul too much. Puppets World. Is it a function of the adjustment here? I also believe that you foul when you're in trouble. What does that mean? You foul when you're in trouble. It means like there's a bit of a breakdown defensively. So you're forced to do something that, basically is illegal to the officials. I mean, like you're chasing someone. By the way, I just take a look at that dunk from Carlin Davidson. Well, that was just a breakdown and pick and roll defense. And obviously, it's good that there was no foul there for Gilas Philippines perspective. But then that just works. Oh, Justin Brownley, big triple here to make it a 3-point ball game. And of course, Justin Brownley, what a player! What a player Justin Brownley is. It's just Coach Tim Cone, the coach of Gilas Pilipinas, calls him basically a Michael Jordan-like figure right now at the moment. Yeah, so we're taking a look here. Yeah, but the other team will get the bonus faster than you. Oh yeah, 100%. That's why you gotta make sure. Ooh, Jordan Gatay answering back with a 3-ball of his own, with Taylor Britt coming in with the assist. Boy, whatever Gilas is throwing at New Zealand, whatever the Philippines throwing at New Zealand, they are answering back in a big way. It's becoming a bit of a shooting contest here. So, Ngatay with back-to-back triples. As this is what Gilas has to be worried about. 9-point lead yet again, matching the biggest lead here that we saw a while ago in the first quarter. And that is because the 3 ball is starting to fall. Defending the 3 has been an issue for Gilas Pilipinas, has been an issue against Chinese Taipei. The question now is, how can you get it lower? How can you lower the shooting percentage of their opposition from the 3-point line, run them off the floor 100%? But how do you do that without breaking down defensively? As Justin Brownlee gets a nice alley-oop coming from Kevin Kimbao. Of course, many people will say the Philippines will win. That's because they're probably biased. Oh, Taylor Britt, 3 field goals here for New Zealand coming from beyond the arc. They are torching the Philippines, and now we're at the biggest lead of New Zealand with 10 points. They're torching the Philippines from beyond the arc, and that's what they got to watch out for. The Philippines has had a difficult time containing the 3-point shot. Now, that might mean that they have to identify or at least be tighter on the shooters and possibly alter a bit of the rules a bit more in terms of the defense. Now, Dwight Ramos gets a foul coming from Ben Gold. So right now, Gilas Philippines are trying to put this down to a single-digit deficit yet again. And of course, for those wondering, where can you watch this? This is just a second screen experience. I'm also watching the game with all of you guys, so on mute because, obviously this is going to be how it works out. So Dwight Ramos splits his free throws here. Now, 9-point lead yet again. Puppets World does not believe that Gilas Pilipinas will win here based on what he's seeing so far. But then, what's that old saying? This is true for any team, by the way. I'm not just saying this because I'm Filipino. But you don't win games in the first quarter. You don't win games in the second quarter. You don't win games in the third. You win them in the fourth. And right now, we're only in the second quarter. This thing can swing drastically the other way. But of course, it can also stay with New Zealand in terms of the momentum. They keep on going as we're near the halfway point here of the second quarter. A timeout called by New Zealand. And on that note, I'm going to take a little sip of coffee that I have to take because it is 11:34 p.m. here in the Philippines. So, gotta keep energized for you guys as well. Let's take a look at some of the numbers here. +7 on the rebounding category here for New Zealand. Still +4 in terms of steals for the Philippines, but that has not increased since that first quarter. So New Zealand, the Tall Blacks doing a much better job in terms of ball security. Here are the shooting numbers here. New Zealand starting to come up from the shooting perspective from beyond the arc. Remember, they shot around 20 or so, mid-20s percentage points in from beyond the arc in the last game against Iraq. But right now they're shooting a red hot 60%. All right, 6 of 10. Boy, if that's sustainable, Gilas Filipinos are in trouble. But if the Gilas can just get that 3-point shooting number down by not by just a bit, but by a lot, then that could be it would make life a lot easier for them. Now, in terms of the quarter scoring, New Zealand's now winning quarter scoring here by 4. Again, that could change. So we'll see what happens going forward here. Again, not even the halfway point of the second quarter. But then the pace of scoring here for New Zealand is very good. They have had 3 straight 3-pointers. So in a very short amount of time. And that's going to be an issue. So I'm taking a look at the action here happening in Jeddah, in Saudi Arabia. And boy, every game, as long as Gilas Filipinas plays there, it feels like a home game for them. I mean, like even Chinese Taipei said that made it sweeter. It made it sweeter beating Gilas Filipinas because they had silenced the quote-unquote home crowd. Scotty Thompson with a missed 3-point attempt. He had a good second half as well. Scotty Thompson. He has been a bit anonymous here in this game so far. Let's see if he can make a difference. As doing much better, at least in terms of that long 2-point attempt here, or rather that 3-point attempt from Clint Cameron, and just better defense here from Gilas Filipinas. That's what they need to do, to be quite frank. In this game so far, it has been up and down for Gilas Filipinas on the rebounding end. As Junmar Fajardo with an assist here to Scotty Thompson, MVP to MVP, making it a 7-point ball game underneath the basket. Scotty Thompson getting that in. Right now we have around 100 or so people joining us here today. Hey, you know what? Share the chat, share this particular program, and we hope to get this more. Of course, for those wondering what we're doing here in this chat party, once again, this is what you call a second screen experience, wherein you play the game live on one end. You can use this as your commentary, compared to if you prefer a bit of a different soundtrack going into this one. Of course, you can also join the conversation happening over in chat, and we'll be all part of it. Again, right now, answering back here, Tohi Smith-Milner, and now Flynn Cameron after the miss from Junmar Fajardo. So Gilas Filipinas now trailing by the biggest margin here, 11 points, 42-31, in favor of New Zealand. So New Zealand just doing a good job on the defensive end, a much better job on the defensive end compared to what we saw against Iraq. In terms of shooting percentage here, Gilas Filipinas shooting at 40.7%. That is not great here for Gilas Filipinas. And 3-point shooting as well is at 23%. They've had a few good looks, Toma Gilas. Not working out well there for him. But then here, you take a look at the other way around. 54% from beyond the arc is New Zealand. That's been a big difference. 53% from the field in general. 16 of 30 here for New Zealand. I even take a look at the shot attempts here. 2 more shot attempts here for New Zealand compared to the Philippines. That stuff has got to change. And the 3-point basket again made by New Zealand, answering Justin Brownley's 3. So it feels like whatever Gilas Filipinas is doing, New Zealand saying, what you can do, I can do better. Puppets World says the floodgates are open. I'm not quite there yet, to be honest, because I still feel that this is still early enough for Gilas to make the adjustment. But I do digress. Justin Brownlee gets a 2-pointer there. Right now, it is a +6 advantage for New Zealand here in the quarter after that score. Now, the problem is still the defense because you have around 252 left to play here in quarter number 2. But then New Zealand have already hit the 24 points. Gilas trying to keep pace. They're gonna outscore, by the way, their first quarter performance. Talking about Gilas Pilipinas as a series of substitutions are made here. Jack Andrew and Carlin Davidson coming in for New Zealand. Coming in. So let's see whether or not they can get into the swing of things quickly or not. Chris Newsom gets a late, or rather, sorry, that was an old entry. As right now, Jack Andrew and Carlin Davidson have checked in here for New Zealand. 11-point lead yet again. So for those wondering what the numbers look like at the moment, the biggest lead was at 13. The biggest scoring run here of New Zealand. Actually, they hit three pointers in a row here in the middle of the second quarter. And still, Gilas Pilipinas basket here, or at least a stop in a basket. There it is. So the free throw made makes it a 10-point game yet again. They could actually come in within single digits here in the second quarter, and that will be a win here for Gilas Pilipinas at the moment. I mean, like a chance for them to adjust because right now, defensively, boy, they are getting torn apart on the offensive end. Talking about Gilas Pilipinas. 24 points with 2:38 left here in the second quarter is just going to be too much as Mohamed Jackson King answers back with 2. So we're back to an 11-point lead, or rather a 12-point lead here for New Zealand. And this is a very strong, athletic team here. Flynn Cameron will be accredited with that assist. A strong, athletic team here for New Zealand. 3 debutants, a lot of winners from the 2022 team that won a bronze medal for New Zealand are still part of this group. And of course, they're trying to find their mojo. Talking about Gilas Pilipinas. Trying to find their mojo here. As Dwight Ramos with a turnover here. Mohamed Jackson King with the steal. Let's see whether or not Mohamed Jackson King could actually turn this into a quick point here for New Zealand, or if the transition defense works. So here we're going to have Chris Newsom coming in for Calvin Oftana. So take a look at some of the leading scorers here. Chris Newsom having a bit of a bounce back here. 6 points here in this game. Justin Brownley, the only player in double-digit scoring here with 19 for Gilas Pilipinas. On the other hand, for New Zealand, scoring is a bit more spread out with Jordan Ngata leading the way with 19. But then you had Flynn Cameron with 10. And then Mohamed Jackson King with 7 as well as, boy, Gilas Pilipinas. Mohamed Jackson King hits another 3-pointer. I mentioned that a while ago. The 3-ball, the 3-ball is a weapon for New Zealand. It was also a weapon for Chinese Taipei. So right now, one of the biggest issues for the Philippines in general is how do you defend the 3-ball in the type of defensive system that Coach Tim Cone wants to run. Now, Dwight Ramos with a 2-point jumper missed, and another 3-pointer, back-to-back 3-pointers here for New Zealand. Jack Andrew this time getting in on the party, and now the floodgates have opened. Where's Puppet's World? There he is. So this is where I feel the floodgates have started to open for New Zealand. That is because they are shooting the ball well. And now Chris Newsom with a miss here as he tried to answer back. Tried to answer back here, and of course a miss there. And turnover here for Flynn Cameron off the bad pass. And timeout here for New Zealand. And as Gilas Pilipinas will have around a bit of a break here to try and recover from that. Boy, what a run for them here. So I'm gonna try and go back to see where this lead grew again. So again, we were at a 10-point ball game with Justin Brownley hitting a 3-pointer. Okay. And then it was 34-44 with around 3:19 left to play. Since that point, okay, Gilas has only scored 3 points. And on the other hand, New Zealand have now hit 11. It's an 11-3 run for New Zealand. And of course, that has to change. Yeah, it's interesting that Papa World says this. So he believes, well, Jordan has a better chance versus Saudi today. I think so. Fair. He believes Philippines not coming back because they do not have the firepower to do so. I would actually I don't think it's a problem of the necessarily of the offense of Gilas. It's the defense. I'm taking a look at the field goal percentage right now. New Zealand are shooting around 60% from the field goal, 64% from beyond the arc. You're not winning any ball games if you're letting them shoot that much. Salil Giandani believes that they're not winning because they don't have Kai Soto. I think it's a factor, but one guy can't defend five. And right now, the shooting of New Zealand is just working so well against this defense of Gilas Pilipinas. They are destroying them from beyond the arc, and that is what is happening right now. They are it's you don't beat teams who shoot beyond 60%. Junior Fajardo gets a 2-pointer after the miss from Justin Brownley's 3-pointer. Offensive rebound here for Junmar. So 55-39 the count here, and a miss for Tane Murray here with 8 seconds left. So the last heave will be for Gilas Pilipinas, and Gilas will get the defensive rebound courtesy of Justin Brownlee, and trying to make the score a bit more respectable before going to the halftime break. And it looks like they will make it. Kevin Kembao off the lay-in. So 14-point game here. Huge deficit still. But that is a good 4-0 run. After that timeout from New Zealand with 47-second mark, it was a 4-0 run here for Gilas Pilipinas. And again, still a long way to go, but that was important. So, of course, 41-55 in favor of New Zealand here. I believe 3 seconds left. I think we're gonna see this tick away. Waiting for the official halftime here. Yeah, Puppet World. I don't think. So that's the end of the period, by the way. So 55-41. I don't think. It's not. I don't think it's a surprise. A lot of people pick the Philippines to win because Philippine fans are very hopeful all the time. And it says here, actually, I just want to answer music because in this format, if you get just one win in the group stage, you're actually going to be able to be part of the losers bracket, or at least the qualifiers for the quarterfinals. So you need to win one game, and if Gilas gets one win here, New Zealand already are in the qualifiers for the qualifiers. Another win here for New Zealand will put them in good position to challenge Chinese Taipei for the top spot and the automatic berth going into the quarterfinals. And Gilas Pilipinas and Iraq in the last game, should Gilas lose this one, it will be a virtual playoff to stay in the competition. So I think that's what's going to happen. So that is going to be that's going to make it a very interesting final day, especially in Group D, because you're going to have a do or die game for Iraq and the Philippines. Should the Philippines lose this one, Chinese Taipei winning a while ago, and if New Zealand wins here, it's going to be a competition really to see who gets a top spot and avoids a qualifier in the quarterfinal. Right? So we'll get to that in just a bit. I'm going to go through some of the numbers here just to see who's been shining here for both these teams. Let's start off first with New Zealand, who, again, their three-point shooting insane. Their three-point shooting 9 of 15, and that's 60%. They have Jordan Ngatai, who has yet to miss a three-pointer. He's 4 of 4. Right? Flynn Cameron is 2 of 4. He has 10 points here. He's the second leading scorer here for New Zealand. And they just got to find the shooters. Talking about Gilas Philippines, they just got to find the shooters, especially Ngatai and Flynn Cameron. They have been destroying the Philippines from beyond the arc. Perimeter defense is actually, Greek Freak has a good point when it comes to the perimeter defense, because that has been the issue for the Philippines. New Zealand has been doing a very good job at carving up just a bit of space. That's all they need to get their shooting going. take a look at the Siscon as well. 12 here for New Zealand. The ball just not moving around here for Gilas. And we're also looking at the shot chart here for both these teams. Again, very efficient shot, and the most modern shot charts look like this. But then New Zealand just doing a much better job shooting from the corner and of course above the break. And right now, we take a look at the leading scorers here for Gilas Pilipinas. It's Justin Brownley with 19. But then after that, there's a huge drop off. He needs a bit more help. Chris Newsom's the second leading scorer with 6 points. And then Kevin Cambao with 5 points. He's 2 of 3 from the field. Talking about Kevin Cambao. He's only played around 7 minutes here. Let's see if he'll be given a bit more runtime here for this one. Again, he played around 16 minutes in that second half against Chinese Taipei. Ended up with 17 points. How about Kevin Cambao? So he was so impressive there. Foul count here for Gilas Pilipinas, much better. Only 1 foul so far for Justin Brownlee. He fouled out in that fourth quarter. So we'll see what happens there. New Zealand just doing a great job on the perimeter defense side. Of course, we're going through the key stats here. We're showing the stats here on the screen as we take a look at the shooting percentages here. 57%. Again, just take a look at that. So black here is the tall blacks, Gilas Pilipinas in blue. Here in the stats that you're seeing on your screen. 60% from beyond the arc is just too much, right? You cannot win basketball games if you have a high volume shooting opponent from beyond the arc and they shoot 60%. Really? What could you do? Right? And then at the moment, we take a look at the other numbers here. Rebounding battle, big advantage here for New Zealand. That was actually a bit expected here in this one. The offensive rebound at least was not too difficult, not too far apart, 3 to 4 here for in favor still though of New Zealand. But we take a look at the assist count here. Coach Tim Cone prides himself on assists. It's not been working. The 4 steals happened in that first quarter for Gilas Pilipinas. Since then, just so disruptive. In terms of turnovers here, not so bad. It is 5 turnovers per team here. So that has not been an issue. But what has been a problem is that the points of turnover for New Zealand, they're so much more efficient at turning turnovers into scoring opportunities. It is 9 here for New Zealand compared to only 2 here for Gilas Pilipinas. So they got 4 steals, but then, hey, what can you do with it, right? In terms of turnovers, 5 turnovers each. Again, it is much more efficient from a turnover standpoint here for New Zealand. I'm just taking a look at the numbers here. If you're the Philippines, you see what you need to do. You see what you need to do because Gilas Pilipinas just need to control the 3-point shooting and be better defensively. At the moment, by the way, while we are on halftime break, we're going to show you what's happening in the other groups. Here, let's take a look at this. Australia, right now, obviously, with a win again, with a win as well as Lebanon. So the two teams there in the early days, by the way, just 1 game played here so far. With Qatar and the Republic of Korea still looking for their first win. Again, you get 1 win, you practically make it to the you extend your stay over in Jeddah. And of course, let's see how that works out. So that's Group A. We're going to take a look at the other groups in just a bit as well. In Group B, take a look at Japan and Iran and their first wins against Guam and Syria. So Japan, obviously one of the growing powers in Asian basketball. They are getting better as the time goes by. They're getting more and more competitive. They are having they're growing their domestic league in terms of and I think they still, like many Asian countries, I think they still have issues and will have issues providing really dominant 4s and 5s without having to get naturalized players to come in and help. But then, of course, obviously they have NBA talent ready. Iran have always been very good in terms of their basketball. In general, Guam has been improving as well. And of course, we're going to see how this group shapes up moving forward as we take a look at Group C. China getting 2 wins, and of course, trying to get that top spot. They're going to have to wait for what Jordan could do, and of course, whether or not Saudi Arabia can pull off an upset as well. So, Jordan will be expected to challenge China in this particular group as the top dog. And remember, Jordan in the Asian Games actually finished above China in China. I believe silver medalists against after a loss to Gilas Pilipinas in the 2023 Asian Games. So there's a possibility for that for sure. So let's also take a look at the last group. Yeah, Uberlandia asking, do you believe Saudi Arabia can beat Jordan? I think it'll be tough. I think Jordan are heavy favorites. As we take a look at this group, so Chinese Taipei winning a while ago, and Iraq taking the loss. So again, I mentioned a while ago, the setup will be if the Philippines lose this one, Iraq and the Philippines will be in a virtual do or die to try and extend their stay here, while New Zealand Chinese Taipei will battle for the top seed and avoid a qualification for the quarterfinals. So that's what you have to watch out for. All right, so let's go through a bit of the chat here. Ren believes Jordan will win later. And of course, we're having a lot of discussions here when it comes to the shooting. Yeah, Saudi Arabia did play well against China. Dub V feels that it's already done for the Philippines at halftime. I have seen so many comebacks in every level of the game, even with Coach Tim Cohn and Gilas Pilipinas. I've also seen collapses happen as well. So to be honest, I don't know what's happening in the third quarter and fourth, but we know what needs to change. We know the adjustments that need to be made. So let's see, one, how New Zealand react to those adjustments, and two, if the adjustments are drastic enough and effective enough for Gilas Pilipinas to actually come back into this ball game. All right. So again, good question from Uberlandia. Do you believe Saudi Arabia can beat Jordan? We'll see. And of course, Roberto Fernandez says, pa-shoutout naman. Oh yeah, sure. Shoutout. San ka? Like, where are you watching from? Let us know. All right. So of course, Dub H believes that New Zealand has too many threats off the bench for Brownley to keep up with. But that begs the question, right? Who should the Philippines try to activate more to help carry the scoring load? Right now, again, 6 points for Chris Newsome. Calvin Oftana has not found his stroke here. CJ Perez has not played yet here in this game as well. I mean, so has Jamie Malonzo. Jumar Fajardo got off. He got the first point. They tried to activate him early. But then AJ Edu was great against the Macau Black Bears, not really doing much. So you gotta find different ways to score. Also, Dwight Ramos only had 3 points in that first half. He only had 2 points in that first half against Chinese Taipei as well. So can Dwight Ramos get going? I actually think Dwight Ramos should be a bigger player in the second half. Diba? So we're going to have to figure it out. Now, for those wondering, what's up? So Rolando Solis Jr. says Fajardo needs to step up. Yeah, actually, I think that he's one of the guys as well. Salil Jandani did mention that, Gilas did beat New Zealand. So I don't think these teams are too far apart in terms of the quality. But I do believe that the quality of Gilas Pilipinas' defense in the first half was not great. The 3-point shooting of New Zealand is not just a result of good shot making, it's also from poor defending from Gilas Pilipinas. So they got to change that. Right? They got to change that. Of course, we're going to find out how that will work out. Again, Jordan Yata, 4 of 4 from beyond the arc. You have Flynn Cameron with 2 of 4 from beyond the arc. Then you have 1, 2, try to count off 3 other players in New Zealand shooting and getting a 3-point basket here for New Zealand. For Gilas, shot distribution, 2 of 5 for Chris Newsome, 2 of 3 for Junmar Fajardo, 2 of 3 for Kevin Cambao, 7 of 12 for Justin Brownlee, and also crucially here, 0 of 3 for AJ Edu. So those are where the shots are going to. Can Scotty Thompson be more active? He's only played around 8 minutes. Can Kevin Cambao be more active? He's had around 7. And can AJ Edu make a bigger impact in the game? those are the questions. Also, Dwight Ramos. Dwight Ramos has played 15 minutes and shot 1 of 4 from the field. Not good enough. So we'll see. Yeah, Rolando Solis is asking, what if Kai was playing? Um, yeah, that's the thing. I don't know if, because the problem here for the Philippines is perimeter defending. They're not defending the perimeter well, and that's not necessarily what Kai stops. Right? Will New Zealand shoot worse if Kai is on the floor? Maybe, perhaps, but right now they're not playing with him, so let's see how they adapt. So Dub does not believe that Gilas Pilipinas are a match for New Zealand. We just take a look at the ranking. There's an argument for that, to be sure. But again, it wasn't so long ago Gilas did beat New Zealand in a very well contested game. New Zealand pounced on Gilas Pilipinas in New Zealand. In other words, what I'm saying is that I see a path for Gilas to come back. I see a path for New Zealand to really take over here as well. As we are getting going here with the third quarter. Of course, thank you so much for joining us again. Thank you so much for joining us again here in this chat party. As it is always a pleasure to be joined by you guys, wherever you're watching around the world. Thank you so much for joining us here and keeping us on the background as we enjoy Gilas Pilipinas against the Tall Blacks of New Zealand. And hopefully we can have you here towards the end, and hopefully you have an exciting finish, right? So remember, this is Junmar Fajardo with the first point here in the first quarter, making it a 12-point ball game. Again, Junmar Fajardo effectiveness in the international stage has always been debated, especially because he's more of a traditional big in a realm full of scorers, high scorers. So let's see if they can turn him into an asset here. Talking about Timcom. But here is a good answer coming from Mojave King Jackson. A basket in the interior. Toby Smith Milner with a basket there. So, excuse me. Defense going to be key here for Gilas Pilipinas and for New Zealand, of course, keeping that momentum going. Who wins in the second half? We'll see. New Zealand's never fielded their strongest side against Gilas. They have 9 top players out for this tournament. Well, let's be fair. I don't think you can. I would say this also for the Philippines. You can say that, this is not our strongest team because we don't have a Kai Soto. Some people might prefer this player to that player. As Junmar Fajardo gets his first free throw. You can't say that, this team would do better in this tournament if they were complete or they had more of these players or X or Y. You can only play what's in front of you. So, if they beat New Zealand and New Zealand fielded a weaker team, then the Philippines still beats New Zealand. No asterisks. If New Zealand beats the Philippines, then the Philippines loses. But then, but they didn't have enough players. No asterisks there. They still beat them. As Ben Gold gets a 3-pointer here. The first 3-pointer of the third quarter, of the second half. That's going to be... You got to watch the 3-point shooting here of the New Zealand because it's such a big part of this game. The inability of Gilas Pilipinas to defend in the perimeter, it's been such a big problem here for Gilas. So, we'll see. We'll see. Dwight Ramos answers back with 3. So, he's been the missing man here, by the way. Dwight Ramos has been the missing man for Gilas Pilipinas because, again, Dwight has not shown up in that first half. He played 15 or so minutes and only ended up with a bucket. We all know what he could do. As Mojave King Jackson fouls Dwight Ramos. So Dwight Ramos here coming up bigger. It feels like he was challenged in the half. So we're seeing a lot of people here come in. So yeah, Junmar Fajardo having a good start here in the third quarter. So Ren says the GOAT, Junmar Fajardo. Sahil says the Kraken. And then of course, Dub H saying, Steve Adams has both New Zealand centers and both NBA centers. Yes, they are. They are. Ralph Rocco says based on observation. This lineup, Gilas acts a true wing who consistently knocks down shots, as well as a strong big man like Kai who can stretch the floor. We also need a reliable playmaker. Well, that's basically the whole team for Ralph. And Dwight Ramos splits the free throws, and all of a sudden, 11-point game with. So that has a good start here for Gilas, because it's an 8-5 start here for Gilas Pilipinas in the third quarter. Yeah, Dub H says they haven't played for New Zealand. Thomas Steve Adams and Tyrell Harrison. Art Lester saying, is Pilipinas live down? I am not quite sure, to be quite frank. Perhaps it is. I have to double check it myself. I'm watching via different sources as well. Ralph Rocco says that he believes that Gilas has... Oh, as Justin Brownley hits a three-pointer, answering back from Tyler Britt's two-pointer. So again, this has been a positive start here for Gilas Pilipinas. Just a 10-point ball game all of a sudden. Tyler Britt missing the shot, but then the New Zealand getting an offensive rebound. Gilas has to end possessions, by the way, in just one shot. Kai is nowhere near Steven Adams' level. Oh yeah, I agree. That's not a debate, to be honest. Steven Adams is an NBA player. Junior Fajardo getting a defensive rebound, and of the miss from Jordan Gatay. Junior Fajardo, very active here in the third, by the way. If Coach Tim Cone can figure out how to get the best of Junior Fajardo, I think that it could be a game changer in a good way for Gilas. Simply because of, well, if for those who are not familiar with his work in the PBA, it's interesting. Although he missed Smith Milner with a missed three-pointer, so Dwight Ramos with a defensive rebound. At the moment here, if I'm not mistaken, I'm going to double check it here. New Zealand have only made one three-pointer nearing the halfway point of this third quarter, so that's already an improvement here for Gilas. Now the question is, can they have better offense here from this point onward, talking about the Philippines? For New Zealand now, so your three ball has started not to fall. How do you change your offense to try and take advantage of the fact that the Philippines are probably jumping harder on the shooters? Blow by opportunities, maybe the open man if they find a way through. So Art Lester asked a while ago, is Filipinos live down? I just double checked. If ever it was down, it's back up. So miss there from Dwight Ramos from beyond the arc. And a turnover from Taylor Britt. Junior Fajardo coming over with the steal. And Dwight Ramos gets a 2. Quick score there coming from Dwight off the fast break. After turnover, layup made for Dwight Ramos. Again, he has been, I said a while ago, missing man is Dwight Ramos. Junior Fajardo has to show up. Those are the guys that have been showing up here. At the moment, Junior Fajardo has 4 points to start off the third quarter. Dwight Ramos has 6 points already. Oh, but Toy Smith Milner answers back with 3. Second three-pointer of the game, in the third quarter rather, for New Zealand. And all of a sudden, despite the good work for the Philippines, 11-point lead yet again. Let's take a look at the biggest lead here. So biggest lead here so far was around 18 points for New Zealand. Ooh, that's a mountain to climb here. So a couple changes here. Carl Davidson and Flynn Cameron. Flynn Cameron hit 2, by the way, in the first half in terms of 3-point shots. And Jordan Gatay was 4 of 4 from beyond the arc a while ago. Junior Fajardo misses, and a defensive rebound here for Carlin Davidson, who just checked in. And Flynn Cameron gets an easy 2. So impact subs here for New Zealand as they're up by 13 yet again. Again, New Zealand, they know that the Philippines would come up invigorated in the third quarter. And so far, they've held off as Dwight Ramos misses from beyond the arc. Just one shot. They go back the other way. Let's see if New Zealand could take advantage. Oh, a turnover here from Flynn Cameron, though. Just 6 seconds into that possession. We go the other way with Gilas Pilipinas. Taking a look at some of the stats here. Again, it was a good start. They put the lead down to 10, talking about Gilas. So Dwight Ramos will be credited with that steal, by the way, of Flynn Cameron. And Dwight Ramos with another miss from beyond the arc. Offensive rebound, though, coming for Gilas Pilipinas. Again, really challenged there. And Carlin Davidson will be forced to foul Junmar Fajardo. And Junmar Fajardo, he's been playing big. He's been playing big here in the third quarter. They'll need that. 2 free throws awarded to Junmar Fajardo. Again, thank you so much for everyone joining us here on the chat party. This is a second screen experience, so you put this on the side as well if you want more analysis of the games, more discussion. Of course, you can join in the discussion by chatting. Ralph Rocco, as we go back to the point he made a while ago, we have plenty of forwards on about the Philippines who can play, but not good enough in terms of defense due to size, but still trust in Gilas. That is one of the most difficult things, by the way. So a series of substitutions. Sorry, I'll get back to you, Ralph. Here for both these teams. Jumar Fardo misses the first free throw. Carl Tamayo, Scotty Thompson, Calvin Oftana checks in for the Philippines, whilst AJ Edu, Dwight Ramos, and Chris Newsom check out. Dane Murray and Jack Andrew check in for Toby Smith Milner and Mojave Jackson King, as Junmar splits his free throws, making it a 12-point game going into the 4:13 mark of the third quarter. So a lot of basketball to be played. We're not quite sure how this will all end up, but thank you so much for joining us. As a foul drawn here coming for Carlin Davidson. As Carl Tamayo coming into the game, fouling immediately. So I'll take a look. Let's try to break down what happened there. We saw a while ago that Carl Tamayo was not able to stay in front of his man, fouled his opponent in the first half. Again, the scouting report on all these guys is all over the place. So right now, I'm taking a look at that foul. It was more of a help. Gilas Pilipinas going to a zone, by the way, in that last possession, as Carl Davidson splits his free throws, making a 13-point game yet again. I mean, like, if you're going to go help, you got to do it. You got to get to the spot early. That's an issue for Gilas Pilipinas. Around 130 people joining us here on the chat. Thank you so much for joining us wherever you are around the world. Kindly make yourselves heard and let us know where you are. And of course, we have shout-outs too. Justin Brownley with a miss from beyond the arc. Flynn Cameron getting the defensive rebound. In terms of scoring here, Justin Brownley has been a bit anonymous. He's had one 3-pointer here in the third quarter. Again, top of mind in terms of Calvin Oftana with a block here. Scotty Thompson coming away with a rebound. We're going to need more of that defensively. Yeah, so Davison from New Zealand's on his way to the Trailblazers, according to Dub H. Of course, yeah, you know what? All I want is to see more and more players from the Asia Cup make their way to bigger and greater pastures. And hopefully we can see them succeed. That's the goal. Lift everyone up, don't pull anyone down. As a foul here from Dane Murray on Justin Brownlee. Again, still trailing by 13. 2 free throws here for Justin. So yeah, I just double checked here. So about Carlin Davidson, because obviously I don't want to spread fake news. Rip City Remix had the 6th pick and drafted Carlin Davidson from New Zealand. So G League. Let's see. Let's hope that he does shine there. Yeah, we're here for it. As Justin Brownlee makes his 2 free throws and turns it into an 11-point game. If you're the Philippines here, by the way, New Zealand are in penalty. You gotta take advantage of that. Justin Brownlee will get a bit of a rest with around 3:15 left here. Dwight Ramos comes back in. If you're the Philippines, You get the lead down to single digits going into the fourth quarter. Get as close as you can. You turn this into a ball game. If you're New Zealand, well, you're in foul trouble. Stop sending them to the line. Stop sending Gilas Pilipinas to the line, and you're going to come out sitting very pretty. Because right now it's 13 of 17 for Gilas Pilipinas from the free throw line. They can get back into this game by the free throw line if they keep on attacking and if New Zealand if New Zealand keep on fouling. That is a legitimate way through. As Jack Andrew misses after the offensive rebound, Scotty Thompson gets a defensive rebound, a chance for Gilas to make it a single-digit deficit. Again, that actually came from a Tane Murray miss. And Dwight Ramos makes it a single-digit lead here for Gilas Pilipinas to try and overcome 59-68. They are still in this with Tane Murray missing the three, Scotty Thompson with the rebound, and Gilas Pilipinas building a bit of momentum. Quarter scoring so far, +5 for Gilas Pilipinas. They are going to try to get even closer. How close can they get before the fourth? Or will New Zealand find their shooting groove yet again to turn this into a one-sided affair? Block shot from Jack Andrew with a miss coming from Carl Tamayo. And we go the other way. New Zealand trying to make it a double-digit lead yet again. A three-ball will hurt here if you're Gilas Pilipinas. New Zealand have been shooting it well in the first half. But a turnover here from Jack Andrew coming off a ball handling error for Jack Andrew. So New Zealand still work to do here for New Zealand. Around 125 watching us here on the FIBA basketball page. Joining us in the second screen experience. 713 votes already here for this one, with Gilas Pilipinas getting a lot of votes here, but it's still looking bleak for them. Justin Brownley will be subbed back in. Junmar Fajardo out after a very productive third quarter for Junmar. Jordan Ngatay, who was so dangerous in that first half, coming from New Zealand back in the game. Joey Smith-Milner also hit his shots, and Taylor Britt adding veteran presence here for New Zealand in the last minute 55 of this third quarter. Crucial minutes here for both these teams because Gilas can definitely put themselves back into this ball game with a good kick here with a minute 55 left. Offensive rebound for Scotty Thompson after a miss from Calvin Oftana. They keep the possession alive here, talking about Gilas Pilipinas. 59-68 the score. And a Dwight Ramos basket after a second chance point means that Gilas Pilipinas are now within 7. Boy, the comeback is on. Comeback is on here for these teams. As right now, Gilas Pilipinas are knocking on the door, and New Zealand, of course, have the chance to answer. How do they answer? We're going to find out together, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us. Make yourselves heard via the chat. Don't be quiet. Let us know more and more what you think. New Zealand have 5 players in Summer League that aren't in the Asia Cup also. Oh, well, you know what? If they were here in the Asia Cup, maybe it's a different story. And maybe they'd be dominating all the way. But at the moment, of course, New Zealand now being pressured here somewhat by Gilas Pilipinas. Still a long way to go. Still a good size lead, but it is still a 3-possession ball game. And if Gilas Pilipinas continue riding this momentum, it will be an interesting fourth quarter, to say the least. Of course, let's take a look at the scoring here of New Zealand. 55%. They were shooting around 60% in the first half, but that's still too big for Gilas Pilipinas. 11 of 20. 11 of 20 from beyond the arc. I have to double check here. Going through the play-by-play again about the 3-pointers attempted here by New Zealand. I'm going to go check that out right now. They are 2 of 5 from beyond the arc in the third quarter. Say 2 of 6 is Gilas Pilipinas on the other end. So let's see if they can change that. So Mojave Jackson King with a miss off the... Justin Brownley hits a 3, and it's a 2-possession ball game. 68-64. Scotty Thompson with the assist. They say the comeback is on, according to Sahil Jandani. Can they complete the comeback, though? New Zealand are so dangerous. So Mark says didn't see CJ Perez come into this game. We don't know yet. I personally don't know what happened to CJ Perez, whether or not he's injured or hurt, or maybe it's a coaching decision. Taylor Britt draws a foul. That'll be the second foul of Gilas Pilipinas. Here again, New Zealand already. New Zealand already in the penalty. 55 seconds left. It's an eternity. Gilas can actually tie the ball game before the end of the third quarter. But of course, New Zealand, they're just looking to score. If you're New Zealand, just find a way to score. Stop this momentum, because it is a 1. I'm counting right now. 2, 4, 6, 9-0 run here for Gilas Pilipinas to come back into this one. 68-64 to count, and right now just making sure there's no slip spots. I'm just looking at the replay again. Justin Brownley hitting that 3-pointer. That was a big basket there from JB. Justin Brownley with 3 ball. He is at 27 points right now. Whoa. Dwight Ramos, by the way, I was critical of his first half. I think he had 4 3 points in the first half, 13 now. So good for him. And a foul here from Dwight Ramos, as I'm not sure if this will be free throws here. But either way, this will be the third foul. I don't believe there will be free throws. 4-point lead. Again, if you're New Zealand, just score. You just gotta score. Gotta score. Add more pressure. It's a 2-possession ball game. A basket here it'll still be a 2. There it is. Free throws here, actually. So my correction on me there. 2 free throws awarded here for Tohy Smith-Milner, and he coolly sinks 2 free throws. Important free throws there for New Zealand, stopping the momentum. It was a 9-0 run for Gilas Pilipinas against New Zealand. Oh, Carl Tamayo. Nasty 3, and all of a sudden 70-67. Yeah, we got a ball game, ladies and gentlemen. We got a ball game. Scotty Thompson with the assist, and the pressure is now on New Zealand. Pressure is now on New Zealand. It is a 26-15 quarter. So this is what I was talking about. The defense had to come alive for the Philippines, and it did. And they almost doubled the scoring here, talking about the Philippines over New Zealand. 26-15. The count in terms of the scoring in favor of the Philippines. 14 seconds left here in this one in the third quarter. And Gilas can tie it with a 3. Of course, New Zealand can extend this as well. 2 free throws for Justin Brownley to make it a 1-point game if he makes it. All right. Here we go. What a game we're seeing here, because the comeback. If you're the Philippines, you're thinking our first halves have been really bad. They've been really bad. You gotta be hoping, like, why can't we start like this? Because they allowed New Zealand to score 32 points in that second quarter. You avoid that 32 point. You keep them to at least 28. You're not in this hole. You're not in this problem. You would have made it already. So there's a reason why it's taking so long, because there's actually an official review. They're reviewing whether or not one of the shots for Carl Tamayo was a 3-pointer. I believe it is. But either way, we're going to focus on what's happening at the moment. Oh, it looks like, by the way, Carl Tamayo's shot might be turned into a 2-pointer. Just wait for his score to reflect. Yeah, so it was downgraded to a 2-pointer. And I think rightly so. Replay review worked out there. So either way, it's a 2-possession ball game. Still, Justin Brownley can make this a 2-point ball game with 2 free throws. Let's see. Free throw count here. 17 attempts for Gilas Pilipinas, 13 made. Plus 6 in terms of attempts is Gilas over New Zealand. Why? How do I explain this? So, in the Philippines, Coach Tim Cone is annoyingly known. Also, rather, just a quick correction here. So, Taylor Britt was the one who drew a foul on Justin Brownley. That meant New Zealand extend their lead here, 72-66. Still a two possession ball game here with around 14 seconds left. A chance for Gilas Pilipinas to still try and come in a bit closer. But then, considering how much they trailed, it has been intense. The biggest lead was at 18. We said a while ago, if you can just come within single digits going into the fourth quarter and you're the Philippines, you're going to feel pretty good. Taylor Britt making the two free throws. And of course, Van Cameron coming in for Taylor Britt, probably for defensive purposes. And that will be a foul on Max Darling. And Justin Brownlee will go to the line and shoot two. New Zealand already in the penalty. Again, thank you so much for joining us here. 152 of you right now joining us, electing to join us here in the FIBA Basketball live chat party. Powered by Smart. 72-66, wherever you are around the world. Thank you so much for joining us. And hopefully, we keep on talking about this because, wow, what a game. What a game here so far. The comeback is real here for Gilas Pilipinas as Justin Brownlee gets the first of two. And anything can happen in a 5-point game. So we're waiting to see whether or not he can drain the second. Yes, he does. 6-point game after being down by as much as 18. In the third quarter, that has clearly been in Gilas' favor, 27-19. Can Gilas keep the defensive clamps on New Zealand? Oh, but New Zealand, what an answer. What an answer here for Taylor Britt. A 2-pointer at the end to make it a 6-point game yet again. That was important. That was important for New Zealand. Gets a bit of separation in a game wherein, it's just been difficult. I'm taking a look at how they did it again. Just shooting over the outstretched hands of AJ Edu and Coach Tim Cone beside himself with the defensive effort there. Just not good enough. Simply put, not good enough. So Coach Tim Cone, a lot to do still going into the fourth quarter, and it's 74-68. Ladies and gentlemen, we got a ball game, and I am so happy that we're not just talking about a blowout here. 3-point shooting, Gilas Pilipinas has improved to around 30%. Again, they were at 25%. It was terrible. 55% right now, 11 of 24. New Zealand, it was higher a while ago. So we're going to find out if they can keep going, if you're Gilas Pilipinas. If you can build on this. They always say it's a game of two halves. It's a more of a soccer football term. But at what we're seeing right now is that it is so far. First half, all New Zealand. Second half, maybe the Philippines. Fourth quarter will be the big difference maker. Again, 750 votes already in our poll, and 73% have the Philippines winning. New Zealand 27%, but I can guarantee you in terms of the odds being in your favor. 74 for New Zealand, 68 for the Philippines. Still very much, I believe personally, New Zealand are still the favorites here. But it's safe to say here that defense in the first half has improved compared to what we saw for the Philippines, and that was always going to be the biggest issue for the Philippines. How can you defend at this level? How can you keep yourself from fouling? How can you stop the 3-pointers? They did that somewhat here in the third. Can they keep on doing it in the fourth? We'll find out together. Thank you so much for joining us here in our chat as we get started here. As Justin Brownlee will be joined by Dwight Ramos here. Scotty Thompson checking out for the meantime. Scotty had a good contribution, by the way, in that third quarter. Just taking a look at Scotty Thompson. The reason why I say he has a good contribution because he had 6 rebounds and 3 assists so far in this game, and it's a plus 12 in terms of his efficiency score. The second highest here after Justin Brownlee. So again, you don't need to score all the time. As Justin Brownlee gets the defensive rebound, Kevin Kimball misses a 3-pointer, and Toby Smith-Milner gets it as well. So we are around 40 seconds played, and Max Darling with a 3-pointer for New Zealand. That's a gut punch. You were around 6 points already. You came within 4, and now you're at 9. And New Zealand, oh my gosh, their 3-point shooting has made life difficult for the Philippines. You got punched in the throat. How do you respond? You respond with Chris Newsom getting a 2-pointer. 7-point lead here still for New Zealand. Jordan Gatay has been pulling the strings here. And Gatay, I hope I say that right, has been pulling the strings here for New Zealand. Max Darling getting that nice feed to the corner, by the way. And that's how he got that 3-pointer. For Chris Newsom, on the other hand, a lay-in in the due order. And Max Darling, 5 points to start out here. Coming in with the lay-in this time. So Max Darling has put New Zealand on his back to start off the fourth quarter. 5-2 stretch here for New Zealand. And that is exactly what they needed. Miss here from Dwight Ramos from beyond the arc. Jordan Ngatai getting the rebound. 9-point game here so far. And if you're the Philippines, you're kind of worried right now with the way that they're scoring here. Talking about New Zealand. You got to get a few stops. You got to get a few stops together. And that'll be a foul on Chris Newsom. Taylor Britt. Again, a miss here from beyond the arc from Dwight Ramos. And we have a few substitutions. Jumar Fajardo checks back in. Jumar was really interesting because he had a really good third quarter, at least the first part of it. So him coming in for Kevin Kimbao could be one of the things that he just needs to just push it. They need a bit of a veteran presence as Taylor Britt gets the 2 free throws here to make it an 11-point game yet again. Gilas defensively poor in the first 2 minutes and change of this fourth quarter. So we go the other way with the Philippines still trying to come back here. Can they though? We'll see. Jumar Fajardo, he comes in, makes a difference. Instant impact 9-point ball game. You know, it wouldn't surprise me if Jumar Fajardo tries to, come back with a bit of a bounce back performance here after what was a very disappointing. I think he would be the first to admit it was a very disappointing game last time around. Justin Brownley with a rebound of Taylor Britt's miss. And a miss here from Jumar Fajardo off the lay-in. So we go the other way. Block shot coming from Ben Gold, by the way. Taylor Britt. Oh, what a miss here from Toby Smith-Milner. Door slightly ajar here for the Philippines. And AJ Edu will get a rebound. Courtesy of the miss. Ben Gold had the offensive rebound, but then 3-point shot not working. AJ Edu adding a lot of size here for the Philippines. (72-81) still the count in favor of New Zealand. As you know, we're getting to the point of the contest, by the way, wherein it feels like every point will be a grind. Every point will get there. As Chris Newsom misses the lay-in, Ben Gold comes up with a defensive rebound. If you're the Philippines, you gotta figure out, is this lineup working? Right now, Justin Brownley has not had a lot of attempts here. Miss here from Mojave Jackson King. So go the other way. Still 81-72, nearing the halfway point of this fourth quarter. AJ Edu had another defensive rebound to his name. You got to do that, though. You got to prevent the offensive rebounds, and there's going to be timeout here for the Philippines. And we're going to take a moment to breathe here. Again, thank you so much for those joining us on the chat. If you are still there, kindly make yourselves felt, make yourselves heard. What do you think of the game so far? Can Gilas Pilipinas make the comeback? What happened in that third quarter for New Zealand? A lot of burning questions here. So far in the fourth quarter, +3 advantage for New Zealand, 7-4. It's late here in the Philippines, 12:34 to be exact. Thank you to those who are still up. Like it's a puyat para sa Pilipinas. That's what we normally say. Like, just a bit of, we don't mind paying a bit of sleep to watch a national team. I'm sure those in New Zealand. So I believe it's even later in New Zealand, or rather earlier, wee hours of the morning for New Zealand. For those watching in New Zealand, the Kiwis out there, or those just supporting New Zealand, hey, welcome to the chat as well. Thank you so much for joining us. 772 people have voted already, and the count still is heavily in favor of Gilas Pilipinas. Once again, please do subscribe in this chat. Please do subscribe. And it says here, Steven Adams and Tyler Harrison coming off the bench for New Zealand would be fire. Yes, it would. If only they could play. If only they would play. Not quite sure what the issues are when it comes to that, like the logistics. So anyway, back to the action here. After the timeout, Gilas Pilipinas trying to overcome this 9-point deficit against the Tall Blacks from New Zealand. And Justin Brownley with a big triple. I was asking where he would be, and there he is. 6-point lead left for New Zealand. But Jordan Gatay, oh my goodness, answering back with 3 of his own. What they could do, talk about Gilas Pilipinas, New Zealand are saying we could do it better. So 75-84, making it a 9-point lead yet again. And that was quick. Around 20 or so seconds before Jordan and Gatay getting that to go. Dwight Ramos misses the jumper, with Ben Cole getting the defensive rebound. And a turnover here for Jordan Gatay, though. Now, I'm trying to see how Gatay got that last 3-pointer. That time just left room by Dwight Ramos. You gotta identify your shooters. Don't give them the breathing room. Suffocate them. And a turnover by Jordan Gatay out of bounds. That's the call, so we go the other way. Here is... Let's see if things could change here, by the way. So it'll be a... by the way, the turnover for Jordan Gatay was a good defensive stop from AJ Edu. And Chris Newsom gets a foul from Jordan Gatay. So I'm just going to check the foul count here of Jordan. Making sure. No, he's all right. Only one personal foul. Yeah. So all the printing says Dwight has missed too many shots. Yeah, 5 of 13. Not a great shooting night for Dwight. I agree. But I also would say that he hit crucial ones. Papa's World says the Philippines lost. We're not done yet. Let's see what happens, because Dwight Ramos hit a 2-pointer just now. 7-point lead still. And it'll be a +1 opportunity. Or rather not. So, sorry. I thought Dwight Ramos was fouled in the shot. Rather, he fouled the other way. Max Darling will be awarded the foul. Or actually is the recipient of the Dwight Ramos foul. Papa's World says no way to come back. No Brownley, no chance for the Philippines, says Dub H. Yeah, maybe, perhaps, but then Brownley's here, so you're saying there's a chance. So Max Darling will shoot the 2 free throws. So Max Darling, actually, I would argue, has had the most impactful fourth quarter here for New Zealand, because he set the tone. He hit the first 5 points here of New Zealand when the Philippines was starting to come back. And he hit his first free throw, missed the second one, split that one. Yeah, but Aldi Printing made a good point about the efficiency of Dwight Ramos. Not there for this one. But he is also second leading scorer of the team with 15. Jumar Fajardo has 11, 4 of 7 from the field. And of course, a 6-point game with 4:34 left, and Dwight Ramos scoring, by the way, again, making a 2-pointer. It's close. It's close. Yeah, so Sahil Jandani is saying no threes, please. Yeah, that's the battle cry after that terrible first half, by the way. And Mohamed Jackson King did not get the 3-pointer. Probably listen to itong si Sahil Jandani. Probably listen to him. And Justin Brownley hits a 3-point ball game. Oh my goodness, guys. This could go down to the wire. The Philippines has not led since the first quarter. In the first quarter, the Philippines actually got off to a good start. And I think just went south from there. The Philippines actually led. What was the last lead that they had? It was, I think the last time was at 14-14. Yeah, the last time they had was at 14-14. And right now, Ken Gilas catch. Oh, let's take a look at this. Tohi Smith-Milner comes in, as well as Taylor Britt coming from Max Darling, Flynn Cameron. So trying to shift things around. Aldi Brent says, yes, the JB show, as it has been a lot. It really has been a lot. I mean, like, he is probably one of the key reasons why we won the gold medal in the Asian Games, which was an incredible performance. Right now, Taylor Britt getting the lay-in, making it a 5-point game yet again. That was huge. Important there for New Zealand. 3:38. Every possession matters now. It always did, but even more so now with Chris Newsome with a miss from the right wing. Ben Gold coming up with the defensive rebound. But then Taylor Britt with a miss. Gilas Filipinas going the other way here. How close can they get? Can they tie this up? Do we have a grandstand finish here? 5-point lead still for New Zealand. Gilas Filipinas trying their best here. So Scotty Thompson's going to come in for Chris Newsome. That might be a very interesting substitution. So pulling up for the shot again is Dwight Ramos, who misses the 2-pointer. And defensive rebound here for Colin Davison. And Taylor Britt misses the lay-in because AJ Edu is there. So good stop. Key stops here for the Philippines, but you gotta score now. If you're the Philippines. Again, New Zealand still with the advantage. They've held on to this since the first quarter. Of course, for the Philippines, again, it's the inconsistency. That first half was not great. Dwight Ramos has drawn a foul off Taylor Britt. 2:24 left here. And timeout for the Philippines. 5-point lead still for New Zealand with 2:24 left. That is a lot of time. So how's everyone feeling there? I mean, like, we have a lot of New Zealand fans there, or a lot of Philippine fans there as well. So let us know how you feel, how the game is going. Of course, question is, can New Zealand hold on? Can the Philippines come back? In terms of the scoring here so far, the Philippines has won the second half here by a big margin. 27-19 in the third quarter, 14-13 so far here in the fourth. But then we have to go back to what happened in the second quarter to figure out just where the difference was. 32-23 in favor of New Zealand in quarter number 2. That was the big difference. So, yeah, we're going to see what happens there. Ian says good night. I mean, good morning also for New Zealand. I think it's like 4 a.m. What time is it over in New Zealand for everyone in New Zealand chat? Latvia under 20 just beat France. Really surprised. Oh, Latvia's a decent team. Yeah, under 20 also. Hey, I mean, let's see how far they can reach in their young careers. Yeah. So it was a Latvia under 20 women's Euro basket. That's the game he's referring to. Yeah, congratulations to Latvia. It's almost five in New Zealand. Oof. So take a little comparison, by the way. 35-22 for Jordan Gingatai and Justin Brownlee. Justin Brownlee with 32, by the way. So fresh off the timeout, let's see what Gilas Pilipinas could do. And a turnover off the timeout. Oh, Dwight Ramos with a bad pass. That's a gut punch. If New Zealand score off the turnover, it could be curtains for the Philippines. Sergio Omodara was saying he expected around 46 people in this room. That's a very specific number, by the way. Very specific number for Sergio Omodara. Um, if there's a Philippine national team playing and there's a chat of any sort, we're yeah, it's gonna be at least 100. And Taylor Britt getting a big 2-pointer, 7-point lead here for New Zealand. And is this a bridge too far for the Philippines? That was a crucial turnover off the timeout. Crucial turnover off the timeout for Dwight Ramos, unfortunately for him. And another turnover for the Philippines. So, uh, yeah, that might do it. The ball security just not quite there for the Philippines here. A minute 34 left and a turnover here for AJ Edu, or rather Justin Brownlee. Yeah, that is probably the biggest culprit. The execution in the late game. And again, I would always go back to that second quarter performance. It just was not good enough for the Philippines, and probably the key reason why. So, of course, the Justin Brownlee turnover was because he felt like there was a foul going for lay-in. About facts about the world, yeah, you can catch a stream. It depends on where you are around the world. Um, it depends on where you are around the world, so you can go check the FIBA website to see, what's showing and where. And obviously, if you can, maybe you can put the game on and then put this on the sidelines, and you can hear different commentary. Again, for we're reaching the tail end of this, and of course, weird stuff could still happen. Don't get me wrong. Weird stuff could still happen here, but then it's looking like New Zealand will go all the way and get the win here. They were expected to win, by the way, in terms of you take a look at any pre-match analysis and all that. The Philippines definitely were the underdogs going into this one. So it will all boil down here to the final game day of this group. If the Philippines beat Iraq, they make it to the qualifiers of the quarterfinals. If New Zealand beat, and then towards the end, by the way, if New Zealand and the Chinese Taipei, who have been playing great, by the way, Chinese Taipei, they go into that matchup. Whoever wins that avoids a quarterfinal, gets into the quarterfinals straight away, so they get a bit of a rest. So, two free throws awarded to Toby Smith Milner. This could be the proverbial nail in the coffin. And we're just seeing a lot of shots here from a very frustrated coach Tim Cone, because the last 2 minutes were very poor for the Philippines, to be honest. The last 2 minutes, a lot of it was execution based. As Toby Smith Miller splits the free throws, a 8-point game. Again, like talk about being a bridge too far, this might be it for the Philippines. Dub H says Philippines will always be underdogs to New Zealand, even when an understrength team. Yeah, maybe. But I think it's safe to say the Philippines have also defeated New Zealand in the past, so it's never a sure win. Scotty Thompson drawing a foul from Jordan Ingatay. So right now, the impressive part about New Zealand, I'm looking at the entirety of this game. Okay, it feels like the problems of both these teams from their first games have not been solved. New Zealand is very inconsistent as well. We saw Iraq actually keep in pace and they played a good game against New Zealand. They actually led at the halftime break on about Iraq. As Justin Brownley gets a dunk here, making a 6-point ball game, 51 seconds left. I mean, yeah. All right, gets a lay in. So 6-point game, 51 seconds left. Hey, you never know. I could be wrapping this up and all of a sudden there's a comeback. Again, New Zealand, though, will. Justin Brownley gets that was an N1, by the way. So Justin Brownley has a chance to make it a 5-point game. So it was a basket interference that led to the basket, and then the bonus free throw for Justin Brownlee. Let's see if he makes it. Yeah. Are we streaming the Turkey game? Yes, we are, but I'm not doing it. So, missed free throw here for Justin Brownlee. Haha. Oh, that's painful for Justin. Painful for JB. If you're in New Zealand, a basket here. A basket here could be it. There it is. There does a basket come from Taylor Britt. Yeah. So Zealandia happy that the New Zealand All Blacks. I think you might be waking up to this. So hey, congratulations. It's looking like it's going to be a win. New Zealand have not put up a good showing in a long time, and that's a scary thing. When do you think was the last time they had a good showing? Just out of curiosity. Like what is a good showing for you guys? And of course, defensive rebound off the miss for Scotty Thompson, as Gilas Filipinas were throwing everything kitchen sink, but then not making it. So again, I was saying a while ago, the problems that we saw in the first game for both these teams is still there. The Philippines did not defend the perimeter very well against Chinese Taipei, and this was the case in the first half against New Zealand. They allowed 32 points in the second quarter, which I felt was the biggest difference maker. Okay, for New Zealand, they were not great for 3 quarters against Iraq. I say that with all due respect to Iraq, because New Zealand should have done a lot better. They got their acts together in the fourth quarter, and that was the biggest difference. Give or take, I think very poorly put. That's how I would probably look at those games. New Zealand did not have a good second half. The Philippines won the second half by a margin. 27-19 third quarter in favor of the Philippines. Right now, New Zealand winning the fourth quarter 18-16. So, if you're the Philippines, you're not the underdog anymore going against Iraq. You have to beat Iraq, and then we'll take it from there. If you're New Zealand, you go against Chinese Taipei, the way that they're playing, you gotta have 4 good quarters. You gotta have the 4 good quarters. So let's see what happens there. According to Dub H, she says New Zealand has never put a full strength team together since they were 4th at the World Cup in 2002. That's interesting, because if they haven't had a full strength team since 2002, you gotta wonder why. Why haven't they had a full strength team since 2002? Papa's World says Philippines' last chance is against Iraq. That's true. Again, this group, very good last game day. New Zealand and Chinese Taipei to avoid the qualifiers for the quarterfinals. And the Philippines and Iraq for an extension. Yeah, Arjun, exactly what I was thinking. It was an entertaining game because the Philippines came close to actually mounting a bit of a comeback. But again, too little too late. As right now, if New Zealand win by 10 here, I actually feel that it is not necessarily indicative of the type of game we saw. So 2 free throws made, 10-point game. So Philippines actually calls a timeout here with 12 seconds left. So obviously, hey, you know what? If I'm in the Philippines, just use every single possession to try and teach and learn. You got to get better every game. But again, hey guys, we got like 100 plus concurrent watchers here. A lot of you stayed up from the Philippines, from New Zealand, and I just want to say thank you so much for joining us here in this chat party. It was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun. I know I was talking a lot. I can't wait to get some sleep though. Talking for 2 hours is super interesting. It's not easy. Once again, I just want to say thank you. I'm Paulo Del Rosario. It is such a pleasure being here with you guys. I'm from the Philippines, but I hope I even gave guys from New Zealand, I know, something to talk about and cheer about. And yeah, I mean, like, I'm just happy that we had a really fun game. It looked like really one-sided in the first half. Credit the hot shooting of New Zealand, the poor perimeter defense of the Philippines. But here in the third quarter, it was a different story. Manny Villagomez watching over from Chicago. Thank you so much. Wherever you are around the world, guys, thank you yet again. New Zealand did enough in the fourth quarter. I wouldn't say they dominated. It's a +4 advantage for New Zealand in the fourth quarter. It could change depending on how the Philippines does this last possession. But then 27-19 in the third quarter. It just goes to show you that if the Philippines locks in, it works. What a waste of time to call a timeout. Yeah, I actually with Big Mac CS there. But then as Dwight Ramos gets a 2-pointer here, I'm actually curious about point differential. No, it shouldn't matter. No, it won't matter. Yeah, no, it won't matter. Anyway, so yeah. And New Zealand calls a timeout too. Oh, I love it. I mean, like, you can't say that neither of these teams are petty. Or, like, they're giving it as good as it gets, both teams. Yeah, I mean, like, look, right now, the second quarter, Gilas were the much better team, to be honest, in that second quarter. In the second half, rather. The first half, though, different story. New Zealand were dominant in that second quarter, 32-23. They won that by 9. They won the first quarter by 5, 23-18. But the Philippines beat New Zealand 27-19 in the third. Yeah. These teams are a lot more even than people realize. They're a lot closer together. And right now, if you're the Philippines, you're going to looking at that Iraq game and you're thinking, boy, they're getting better game by game. They got to play their best game against Iraq and then just keep on playing their best all the way towards the end. And if you're New Zealand, can you be consistent for all 4 quarters? You had 2 good quarters in the first half, a very bad third quarter, and a fourth quarter that's middling. Again, I think New Zealand are one of the teams that could potentially end up in the podium. The Philippines felt that they could have been there, but to be frank, their first 2 showings here have not been great. We know the potential. I mean, like, they were so close to making it to the Olympics. Just that loss to Brazil just was a gut punch. But them beating Latvia was a big deal. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us here on the chat. 94-86 the final score in favor of New Zealand. New Zealand go 2-0 to join Chinese Taipei up the top of the standings in Group D. The Philippines go down to 0-2 to join the Cellar Dwellers, Iraq, as well. As, of course, really interesting to see how the final game day Group D pans out in the King Abdullah Sports City in Saudi Arabia. Race is not ran yet for the Philippines, as the win will see them go and see whether or not they can make it to the qualifiers or quarterfinals and obviously try to extend from there, while New Zealand, well, they will contest the top spot of the group. Let's see what happens there. Top scorers today, Justin Brownley had a 37-point game. Dwight Ramos had 19 for the Philippines, with Junmar Fajardo chipping in with 11 as well. On the other end, New Zealand coming up big, courtesy of Jordan Ingatay, who had a fantastic first half, did not miss a 3-pointer throughout the entire game, 5 of 5 from beyond the arc. Taylor Britt had 19 points, a good second half performance for him. He only shot 1 of 3 from beyond the arc, but crucial free throws, 4 of 4 from there, and a Mojave Jackson King with 11, and Flint Cameron with 12 as well. 11 rebounds. Shout out to Ben Gold for that performance for New Zealand as well, making sure that New Zealand were really strong on the boards. No double-digit rebounders for the Philippines. AJ Edu with 6 rebounds. Scotty Thompson from the guard position, 7 with 4 assists as well. Thank you so much for joining us here on the chat. We will see you for the next game days, and we really appreciate all your time and your effort to be with us here today. I'm Paulo Del Rosario. Follow me on my socials at Paulo Del Rosario over on Instagram, at Paulo Del Rosario over on X. And of course, just happy to be with you guys. Here is the final look of the Group D after this game day. Or rather, this should be fixed, rather. So it should be 2-0 for New Zealand and 0-2 for the Philippines. Iraq and the Philippines at the bottom. New Zealand, Chinese Taipei up on top. Thank you so much. Have a great night wherever you are around the world.